Emma came to her mother-in-law's house after a business trip to pick up her husband and children. When she heard strange fragments of phrases under the window of the house, she stopped, and when she listened to the end, she was stunned by the revealed truth. The story I am going to tell is based on fiction and does not reflect real events. Enjoy listening. Emma stepped off the plane, her body heavy with exhaustion from a grueling week-long business trip, and headed straight to her mother-in-law's house in the quiet suburbs to reunite with her husband, Liam, and their two young sons, Ethan and Noah. The early morning air was crisp, the sky still tinged with the soft pinks and purples of dawn. As she approached the charming, ivy-draped house, a faint breeze carried strange, disjointed snippets of conversation from an open kitchen window. Curiosity tugged at her, halting her steps on the dew-kissed grass. She leaned closer, her breath catching as she pieced together the words. What she overheard wasn't just surprising. It was a shattering revelation that froze her in place, her heart pounding with the weight of a betrayal she never could have imagined. Before we delve deeper into this emotional saga, please take a moment to share in the comments which country you're watching this video from. Settle in, dear listener, for a story of love, deception, and a mother's unbreakable resolve. The night before her departure, Emma stood in the dimly lit bedroom of their cozy city apartment, her suitcase open on the bed, half-packed with neatly folded blouses and her laptop. She moved with deliberate care, her fingers brushing over Ethan's favorite dinosaur pajamas and Noah's well-worn soccer jersey, which she'd tucked into a corner of the case as keepsakes to ease her homesickness. The glow of a small bedside lamp cast warm shadows across the room, illuminating the sleeping faces of her boys. Ethan, 8, lay sprawled with a book splayed across his chest, while 5-year-old Noah clutched a stuffed bear, his soft snores filling the quiet. Emma's heart ached at the thought of leaving them, even for a week. This business trip, a high-stakes project for her marketing firm, had come at the worst possible time. The client's demands were relentless, the deadline looming like a storm cloud, and her expertise was non-negotiable. "Liam," she whispered, turning to her husband, who leaned against the headboard, his dark hair tousled, eyes half closed with sleep. "Are you absolutely sure this is okay? I mean, with the boys?" Her voice trembled slightly, betraying the anxiety that had been building for days. Liam rubbed his eyes, offering a tired but reassuring smile. You're worrying too much. It's all under control. Mom's thrilled to have Ethan and Noah for the week. She's already got a whole itinerary, baking cookies, trips to the park, maybe even a sleepover in the living room with popcorn and movies. They'll be in heaven." Emma's lips pressed into a thin line. She trusted Liam, her partner of 10 years, whose easygoing charm had always balanced her methodical nature. But his mother, Margaret, was a different story. Margaret was a force of nature, a woman whose commanding presence filled any room. Her approach to grandparenting was indulgent to a fault. Ice cream sundaes for breakfast, no bedtimes, endless cartoons. It clashed starkly with Emma's philosophy of structure and balance. She believed in nutritious meals, consistent routines, and limited screen time to foster creativity and discipline. Margaret, on the other hand, saw her role as spoiling her grandsons, showering them with treats and leniency, as if love could be measured in sugar and screen hours. Pacing the room, Emma twisted the hem of her cardigan, her mind racing. I don't like leaving them with her for so long, Liam. You know how different we are about parenting. What if she lets them stay up all night or feeds them nothing but junk?" Liam climbed out of bed, his bare feet soft on the hardwood floor, and wrapped his arms around her. His warmth was familiar, grounding, but it didn't fully ease the knot in her stomach. It's only 7 days. The boys adore Grandma's house, the big backyard, her silly stories. It's better than hiring some random nanny we'd have to vet. I'll be there to keep things in check, I promise. His hazel eyes met hers, earnest and steady, and Emma felt her resolve waver. Okay, she sighed, resting her forehead against his chest. But no TV marathons, and definitely no candy before bed. We're clear, right? Crystal clear, Liam said, his voice warm with affection. He tilted her chin up and kissed her softly, a gesture that felt like a promise. Focus on your project, nail it, and come back to us. We'll be waiting. Emma managed a small smile, clinging to his words as she zipped her suitcase shut. But as she lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, a quiet unease settled over her, like the first whispers of a storm. The next morning, at the bustling airport, that unease sharpened into a tangible dread. Emma had passed through security, her carry-on slung over her shoulder, when she pulled out her phone to call home one last time. The call rang out to voicemail, Liam's cheerful greeting a stark contrast to the silence that followed. Probably still asleep, she muttered, slipping the phone back into her bag. But the unanswered call lingered, a small crack in her confidence that refused to close. The business trip was a whirlwind of chaos. The client's project, a multi-million-dollar marketing campaign, was teetering on the edge of disaster, with conflicting demands and a team stretched thin. Emma threw herself into the work, leading late-night strategy sessions, revising proposals, and navigating tense negotiations. Her days blurred into a cycle of conference rooms, coffee, and spreadsheets, leaving little room for anything else. Still, she carved out precious moments each evening to call home, craving the sound of Ethan's excited chatter or Noah's shy giggles. At first, Liam's updates were warm and detailed. Ethan had built a pillow fort. Noah scored a goal in the backyard. But by the third day, his tone shifted. His responses grew curt, his texts vague. Busy day, all fine, or kids are good, don't stress. The daily photos she'd come to rely on. Ethan's lopsided grin over a bowl of cereal, Noah mid-kick with a soccer ball, stopped coming altogether. Emma's messages went unanswered for hours, and when Liam did reply, it was with a brevity that felt cold. Everything okay? She texted one night, her fingers hovering over the screen in her sterile hotel room. All good, focus on work, came the reply, hours later. The distance in his words gnawed at her, a growing suspicion that something was terribly wrong. Her instincts, honed by years of motherhood, screamed that her family was slipping through her fingers. She tried to push the thoughts aside, chalking it up to exhaustion, but the doubt clung to her like damp fog. On Wednesday evening, as she sat alone in her hotel room, the neon city lights flickering outside, her phone buzzed with a call from Sophie, her best friend since college. Sophie's voice was a lifeline, warm and familiar. Hey, how's the corporate jungle treating you? Emma managed a weak laugh. Like a meat grinder. I'm counting the seconds till I'm home with my boys. What's up with you? Sophie's pause was heavy, laden with unspoken weight policing. Well, I saw Liam and the kids at the park yesterday. Emma's heart quickened. Oh? How were they? Another pause, longer this time. They were fine, but Liam wasn't alone. Margaret was there, and there was this other woman. The air left Emma's lungs. What other woman? Do you know her? No, Sophie said softly, her voice cautious. But she was holding Noah's hand, and they were all laughing together. It looked intimate, like they were a family unit. Emma's mind reeled, her throat tightening. "Maybe she's just a friend of Margaret's, helping out," she said, her voice barely steady. "Maybe," Sophie replied, her tone doubtful, but it felt like there was something between her and Liam. "I didn't want to worry you, but I thought you should know." The call ended, but Sophie's words echoed, each one a dagger. Emma tried to rationalize it. A neighbor, a relative, a misunderstanding, but the image of another woman holding Noah's hand burned into her mind. She called Liam immediately, her hands trembling. No answer. She tried again, then texted, "Please call me." Urgent. Nothing. The silence was deafening, amplifying her fears. She spent the night pacing, her imagination conjuring painful scenarios. By Thursday evening, the uncertainty was unbearable. Sitting at the hotel desk, she booked the earliest flight home, her heart racing as she confirmed the ticket. Sleep was impossible, her mind consumed by visions of her family being torn apart. Emma landed at dawn, the city still cloaked in the soft gray of early morning. She directed the taxi to Margaret's house, her stomach churning with dread and determination. She asked the driver to stop a block away, needing to approach unseen. The quiet street was serene, lined with blooming cherry trees, but Emma felt like she was walking into a battlefield. As she neared the house, a gentle breeze stirred, carrying voices from the partially open kitchen window. She froze, recognizing Margaret's commanding tone, sharp and self-assured, cutting through the morning air. "Have you finally come to your senses, Liam?" Margaret was saying, her voice dripping with smug satisfaction. "Emma's too wrapped up in her career to care about her own children. The boys are flourishing here. They love it. They barely mention her anymore. Ethan called me Mom the other day, can you imagine? And Noah's always by my side, playing happily. They don't need her." Emma's heart pounded so fiercely, she thought it might burst. She pressed herself against the cool, rough brick wall, her breath shallow, desperate to hear more. Liam's voice followed, low and uncertain. "Mom, I filed for custody, like you said. The lawyer thinks her work schedule and constant trips give me a strong case. She won't even know until it's too late." The words hit like a tidal wave, drowning Emma in shock and betrayal. Custody. Liam, her husband, her partner in life, had gone behind her back, plotting to take Ethan and Noah while she was away, struggling to balance her career and motherhood. Every late night, every missed bedtime, every ounce of guilt she'd carried, it was all being weaponized against her. Margaret's triumphant scoff cut through the haze. "Exactly, dear. I told you she's unfit. All she cares about is her next promotion. The boys deserve a real family, not a mother who's never there. If the court's generous, she might get weekends. She can send child support checks and call it parenting." Rage surged through Emma, hot and blinding, mingling with a crushing despair. But beneath it, a cold, calculated resolve took root. She couldn't let emotion win, not yet. Her children's future depended on her clarity. With trembling hands, she pulled out her phone, activated the recorder, and held it close, capturing every word, knowing this could be her salvation. "Stick to the plan, Liam," Margaret continued, her tone authoritative, almost gleeful. "Tell the judge she's always away, that the boys barely see her, that I've been their true caregiver, loving them like my own. They're happier here, and the court will see it." Liam's voice wavered. "Maybe we should try talking to her first, Mom. Work it out." "Don't be ridiculous," Margaret snapped. "Talk? She doesn't listen. She's too stubborn, too obsessed with her ambitions. You know how she is. The court's the only way to secure the boy's future." Emma's grip on the phone tightened, her nails digging into her palm. Stubborn? Damn right she was. And that stubbornness would fuel her fight to keep her family intact. Margaret droned on, meticulously outlining their strategy, what to say in court, which documents to prepare, how to paint Emma as an absentee mother. Liam's responses were subdued, almost robotic, as if he were a puppet in his mother's scheme. When their voices fell silent, Emma slipped away, her legs trembling beneath her. The weight of the betrayal threatened to crush her, but she forced herself to move, one step at a time, down the quiet street. Her mind was a storm of emotions, shock, anger, heartbreak, but she knew she had to act, not collapse. As she walked, her thoughts churned, searching for an anchor. Then it hit her. Eleanor, her mother. A retired lawyer with a razor-sharp mind and a heart of steel, Eleanor was the one person Emma could trust implicitly. She pulled out her phone and dialed, her voice breaking. "Mom, it's me. I need your help. It's urgent." Eleanor's voice was instantly alert, tinged with maternal concern. "Emma, what's wrong? Are you safe?" "No, Mom, I'm not okay. Liam, he's filed for custody. He and Margaret are trying to take Ethan and Noah." The line went silent for a moment, then Eleanor's voice hardened with resolve. "Tell me everything, sweetheart. Every detail." Fighting tears, Emma recounted the entire ordeal, the demanding trip, Liam's growing distance, Sophie's unsettling report, and the devastating conversation she'd just recorded. "I have proof, Mom. I recorded them plotting against me." Eleanor listened without interruption, her silence a steady presence. When Emma finished, Eleanor's tone was firm, unwavering. "All right, we're going to handle this. Get to my house now, bring the recording, and we'll start building your case. We'll fight this, Emma, and we'll win." Relief, fragile but real, flooded Emma. Eleanor's strength was a lifeline, pulling her from the depths of despair. She hailed a taxi and gave her mother's address, staring out at the waking city as the taxi wove through familiar streets. The world felt alien now, as if the life she'd known had been a facade. Liam's betrayal, Margaret's manipulation, it was a nightmare she couldn't wake from. Yet, Eleanor's voice echoed in her mind, a beacon of hope. The memory of Margaret's smug words and Liam's weak compliance fueled her determination. They had underestimated her, and they would regret it. Eleanor's home, a cozy Victorian filled with books and family memories, was a sanctuary. Emma stumbled through the door, and Eleanor was there, enveloping her in a fierce embrace. "Oh, sweetheart," Eleanor murmured, her silver hair catching the morning light. "We'll make this right. I'm here." Emma's composure shattered, and she sobbed into her mother's shoulder, the pain, fear, and anger pouring out. The warmth of Eleanor's embrace, the familiar scent of lavender, grounded her. After a moment, Eleanor led her to the study, a haven of leather-bound legal texts, framed family photos, and a worn desk where Eleanor had once built her career. She handed Emma a steaming mug of chamomile tea, her eyes sharp with purpose. "Deep breaths, Emma. Start from the beginning, and let me hear that recording." Emma recounted the past week in exhaustive detail, the mounting tension of the trip, Liam's evasiveness, Sophie's troubling call, and the moment she overheard the betrayal. With each word, the weight on her chest lightened, as if sharing the burden with Eleanor made it bearable. She described the sleepless nights, the guilt of being away, the constant juggling of her career and motherhood. Eleanor listened intently, her expression shifting from concern to a steely determination. When Emma handed over the phone, Eleanor played the recording, her lips tightening at Margaret's manipulative words and Liam's complicity. "This is a gold mine. Eleanor said, her voice low and resolute. It's not just evidence, it's proof of their conspiracy and intent. But we need to be thorough. We'll build a case so strong they won't know what hit them. Eleanor's legal instincts, undimmed by retirement, sprang to life. She opened a notebook, her pen moving swiftly. First, we established that Ethan and Noah have always lived with you as their primary caregiver. We need every piece of evidence, receipts, school records, photos, messages, anything that proves you're their foundation. Emma nodded, a spark of hope igniting. She returned home briefly, tearing through drawers and closets, unearthing a treasure trove of proof. Grocery receipts, utility bills in her name, bank statements for Ethan's art classes, and Noah's soccer league. A memory box yielded snapshots, Ethan's first day of school, Noah's birthday party, family picnics at the lake. She found emails with teachers about parent-teacher conferences, texts with Noah's soccer coach about his progress, and a heartfelt note from Ethan's teacher thanking her for volunteering at a field trip. Each item was a brick in the wall of her devotion, a testament to her unwavering love. Back at Eleanor's, they spread the evidence across the dining table, creating a detailed timeline of Emma's role in the boys' lives. Eleanor pointed to a chain of texts with Ethan's teacher about a science fair project. This shows you're deeply involved in their education. She tapped a photo of Emma and Noah at a soccer match, her face beaming with pride. And this, you're there, cheering, present. It's undeniable. They mapped out Emma's daily routine, who drove the boys to school, packed their lunches, helped with homework, or took them to extracurriculars. Emma recalled countless evenings spent at the kitchen table, guiding Ethan through math problems or reading to Noah, his head resting on her shoulder. To bolster their case, Emma called Sophie. You remember me rushing from work to pick up Ethan, then staying up late to help with his book reports? Sophie's voice was warm, resolute. Like it was yesterday, Em. You're a superhero mom. I'll testify in court, whatever you need. Emma's eyes welled up at her friend's loyalty, a reminder that she wasn't alone in this fight. The recording remained their most powerful weapon. Eleanor replayed it multiple times, scribbling notes on key phrases, Margaret's admission of manipulating the boys, Liam's agreement to deceive the court, their plan to exploit Emma's career. This is a bombshell, Eleanor said, her eyes gleaming with strategy. It exposes their motives and collusion. No judge will ignore this. She contacted a trusted family law attorney, a former colleague with a reputation for winning tough cases. After reviewing the recording and evidence, the attorney's confidence was palpable. Your case is rock solid. The recording alone could clinch it, but with this mountain of documentation, it's a slam dunk. We'll file a counterclaim to secure custody with you, restrict Liam's ability to make unilateral decisions, and request a psychological evaluation to assess the boy's well-being after this ordeal. Under the attorney's guidance, Emma drafted a counterclaim, pouring her heart into the narrative of betrayal. She attached the recording, receipts, photos, school records, and Sophie's written statement, demanding the court protect her parental rights and ensure Ethan and Noah's stability. The process was emotionally draining, each document a reminder of the life she'd fought to maintain. But with Eleanor and the attorney by her side, Emma felt a growing sense of empowerment. This wasn't just about her. It was about her boys, their safety, their future. With the paperwork ready, Emma decided to confront Margaret. She called, her voice steady despite the storm within. Margaret, I'm coming for Ethan and Noah tomorrow evening. They belong at home with me. This was a temporary arrangement. Margaret's response was a venomous tirade. You think you can just take them? They're happier here. They call me their real mother. You're too busy with your fancy career to care." The words cut deep, but Emma's resolve was ironclad. "I've warned you, Margaret. If they're not ready, I'll involve the police and the courts. You won't like the consequences." Margaret's screams followed as Emma hung up, her heart pounding but her purpose clear. The next day, Emma arrived at Margaret's house with the attorney and 2 police officers. The quaint facade with its rose bushes and white picket fence hid the chaos within. Margaret barred the door, her face a mask of fury, but the officers presented a warrant, forcing her to step aside. Inside, the house was a mess. Toys strewn across the floor, dishes piled in the sink, a stark contrast to Margaret's usual meticulousness. Ethan and Noah, spotting Emma, broke into tears and ran to her, their small bodies crashing into her embrace. "Mommy, please take us home," Ethan sobbed, his arms tight around her waist. Noah clung to her leg, his voice trembling. "We missed you so much. Don't leave us here." Emma knelt, tears streaming down her face as she hugged them fiercely. "I'm here, my loves. You're coming home with me. You're safe now." Her voice was a soothing balm, her touch a promise of security. Margaret lunged forward, shouting accusations, but the officers restrained her, their presence a firm boundary. Emma gathered the boys' belongings, backpacks, favorite toys, Ethan's half-finished dinosaur drawing, Noah's soccer ball, and led them out. Margaret's curses echoed, but Emma focused on the warmth of her son's hands, their trust anchoring her. That evening, Liam appeared at Emma's apartment, his face etched with desperation. He stood in the doorway, his shoulders slumped, eyes red-rimmed. "Em, I'm so sorry. Mom, she got in my head. I thought I was doing what's best for the boys. I never meant to hurt you. I love you all." Emma's gaze was cold, her voice sharp. "You betrayed us, Liam. You plotted to take my children, to erase me from their lives. You don't get to apologize and fix this. We're done." Liam fell to his knees, pleading, his voice breaking. "Please, Em, give me a chance to make it right." But Emma's heart was closed to him. "Leave," she said, her tone final. "You're no longer part of this family." Defeated, Liam rose and left, the door's soft click a punctuation mark on their shared history. The court date arrived, a crucible for Emma's fight. The courtroom was stark, its high ceilings and wooden benches imposing. Emma sat beside her attorney, her hands clasped tightly, as the judge, a stern woman with piercing gray eyes, reviewed the evidence. The recording played, Margaret's manipulative words and Liam's weak agreement filling the room with undeniable truth. The judge's expression remained impassive, but Emma sensed the weight of the evidence. Her attorney presented the extensive documentation, receipts, school records, photos, Sophie's testimony, all painting Emma as a devoted, engaged mother. The process was grueling, each moment a reminder of the stakes. After hours of deliberation, the judge delivered her ruling, her voice clear and authoritative. Based on the evidence, Ethan and Noah's primary residence has been with their mother, Emma. The father violated their mutual agreement, and the grandmother, Margaret, has no legal standing to retain the children. Emma's breath caught, relief flooding her like a warm tide. The victory was hers, but it was bittersweet. She'd had to fight for what was rightfully hers. Liam was granted supervised visits every other Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., pending the boys' comfort level. Margaret was barred from custody decisions, her actions deemed detrimental to the family's well-being. After the hearing, Liam approached, his voice trembling. "Em, I was wrong. Mom convinced me it was for the boys. Please let me make this right." Emma's eyes were weary, her heart heavy. "You thought tearing them from me was best? You lied, manipulated, and betrayed us? I can't trust you, Liam. Not now. Maybe not ever. She turned away, her focus on the future she'd build with her sons. Emma relocated to a charming apartment in a new neighborhood, a fresh start for her and the boys. The space was small but warm, filled with their laughter, the scent of homemade pancakes, and the soft glow of fairy lights she'd strung up for Noah. She poured herself into creating a haven, decorating with Ethan's vibrant paintings and Noah's soccer trophies. Evenings were sacred, board games, bedtime stories, or cuddling on the couch watching old movies. She enrolled the boys in new activities, ensuring their days were filled with joy and stability. One night, tucking Noah in, she brushed his hair back and asked, "Are you happy here, sweetheart?" He snuggled closer, his voice a whisper. "It's the best, Mommy. It feels safe and happy." Those words were a balm to her wounded heart, a confirmation of her choices. Years later, Emma's life had transformed. She married Daniel, a kind-hearted architect who adored Ethan and Noah as his own. They moved to a sprawling countryside home, its garden alive with the boys' laughter and the scampering of their dog and cat. Emma thrived in her career, but set firm boundaries, prioritizing family time. She reflected on her journey, the trials that had forged her strength. The betrayal had been a crucible, but it had shaped her into a fiercer, wiser version of herself. One golden evening, as she sat on the porch watching Ethan and Noah chase fireflies, their giggles echoing in the twilight, Emma felt a profound peace. She'd faced the unimaginable, fought for her children, and built a life filled with love and security. No one could take that away. She looked up at the star-streaked sky, a smile curving her lips. She'd done everything right, and her family was whole,